Hey, what's happening? My name's Jordan Morrison, and this is episode 51 of It Is What It Is. And this episode is all about honesty. I wasn't really being honest with myself. I had people in my life not being honest with me, and I've really been struggling with that. It's something that I've been writing a lot about. I didn't really realize it, but honesty has been on my mind. I want to be better at being honest with myself and be honest with others. And when I trust that people are being honest with me and they come up short, it sucks. And I don't want to reciprocate that. I don't want to put more of that energy out there because it doesn't feel good, right? And when I started to kind of like identify where I'm dropping the ball and being honest with myself, I started to realize that I wasn't really doing everything I could be for my podcast to make it what I want it to be. I wasn't really doing everything I could be for my music to make it what I want to be. And honestly, I wasn't being the kind of person that I even want to be, you know? The best version of me, the version that I love the most, is the version that gets up early, that stretches, that meditates, that journals, that does all those awesome things to start a day. And I was just in like a weird cycle that wasn't healthy. And I was just kind of getting through and everything felt like work and I wasn't having fun with anything. So I took a couple weeks off to really focus on my music and to have fun with my podcast. And this was an interesting thing that had happened to me, and I was pretty shocked when it happened. But I was testing out some new content for my podcast, and I got down a rabbit hole of just trying stuff for my podcast, and hours went by, and I was like, that was a lot of fun. And I wasn't really doing anything to produce content, to put it out, to share it, to do whatever. I was just like, hey, what if it looked like this? And what if I tweaked that and I instead used, this software to help me and this, that, and the other. And I started down a rabbit hole, and all of a sudden, happy accident, I stumbled on some fun times, some good, just good times is what I'm trying to say. What I can't get out of my mouth is I'm trying to say I had fun. I hadn't had fun with my podcast in so long, and it was just really refreshing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing for my music. I'm going to get back to work. I'm going to start looking at it from a positive angle, and that has really helped me. And I was honest with myself. I checked myself on some of the stuff that I wasn't doing that I needed to be, And I had a mentor of mine. He kind of called me out and was like, yo, gotta get to work, And it really helped, which was funny because in the moment I was like, I've done this a bunch, like I've put in time to be good at something and I know what it takes. And it's funny how I do this like awkward dance around like the work, when I just need to dive in and enjoy it. So again, all of that to say, that is why honesty has been on my mind. I wasn't being honest with myself. I had other people in my life who weren't being honest with me, who were asking things of me and they didn't really mean it. They didn't really want to be there, And honesty is important because I really believe that if somebody, is wasting your time and they're not being honest with you, then that sucks. Obviously it does. Obviously you've been there before. You know what I'm talking about. But you really can't expect people to be honest with you. It sucks. I feel like you should give people the benefit of the doubt. You should give people second chances. You should do all of those things. Those things are necessary. The reason they're necessary is because people aren't honest, And I'm guilty of that as well. I want to first recognize where I'm not honest, which was with myself, and I have been dishonest with other people as well. So I've been trying to, take a beat and check myself. And I know that I've got a lot of work to do with my relationships, with honesty, with myself, all that good stuff. But we're going to dive into it. We're going to see kind of what honesty has brought me in the last couple of weeks, which has been some cool stuff. So I want to dive into the music. I want to get into that. I'm going to be sharing some of my lessons with you guys. I'm going to be sharing a song with you guys. And then I'm going to be sharing some honest truth that I found in a journal entry not too long ago. And that was really cool. So let's first jump into the music. I was really fortunate the last couple weeks to be working with Joe. Joe and I, we meet twice a week, and it's really good for me. He is super helpful with everything. Joe's very talented. He's a professional musician himself, and he just dropped an EP, which is super cool. I'm really, really stoked for him. And y'all should go listen to that. He goes by 92 Elm. So in any case, that's Joe. So here's a lesson that we had a couple weeks ago, and obviously it's really good talking to him anytime. We're buddies now, and he always listens to my weekly drama. He always asks me about my week, and I always tell him, I don't hold back. But for this track, we were discussing kind of how like the strong structure in the hook needed a little bit of some extra work. He pointed out that the intro section seemed to be a little bit more catchy and memorable than maybe even the current hook that I had there. So he recommended that I try out shorter, simpler melody phrases for the hook, just to make it like a little bit more engaging for the listener, whatever you want to call it. And he also advised that I start listening and seeking inspiration from the stuff that I do like, which is important because a lot of music is you taking what you like and saying, how do I apply that to my projects? So that's essentially what he was telling me there. We talked about the importance of just not getting too attached, like just because I did something, put down a vocal, put down an idea or whatever, put some time into it, doesn't mean that I have to use it, and that I should really explore new ideas. So that was really helpful. He also suggested that a particular section could work well like as a refrain, and we could revisit it later in the song. And even, furthermore, he was recommending that my vocal range could be higher in some spots and lower in other, just to give the song a different feel throughout. So that's us working on that specific track. I do have, like I said, a track to share with you guys. It's in the demo stage. And it's more about just being honest, like what am I doing? How am I getting there? Because a lot of times what I have found on YouTube is people that I admire or people that I even idolize. I'm like, how do you do it? Right. And I'm doing my research, vetting like the process. And it seems very like, this is off the cuff. This is easy. But from the people who are honest with me, that's really not the case. There's a ton of time and effort put into these things. And a lot of times artists just want to come across as like, oh, like this just like falls off the cuff and it's who I am and whatever. And if that's you, that's great. I'm not hating right now. I'm just saying for normal people like me, it takes a process and it takes a while. And I want to be honest with you guys about that. I don't want to be like an older version of myself. An older version of myself would have and did send off some money to get a beat back, send off some vocals, let somebody else figure it out. And then I was trying to take credit for like, oh snap, like I did this, which wasn't the case. This next video that I want to share is with Jimmy. Like I said, Jimmy's been helping me with my singing. And, I've learned a lot from Jimmy in the last year and a half, 2 years, however long we've been singing together. And I was kind of like unsure about some of the melodies and how I was sounding, and Jimmy's great. He always like does his best to get me to relax because I get super stressed and anxious when I'm singing. I like stare up and I like move a bunch, but he'll have me like relax, like roll my shoulders, do a bunch of breathing, like get me moving, get me comfortable. So I appreciate that. He encouraged me to pay attention to my breathing and my breath control and avoid rushing into notes. A lot of times I'll rush or I'll drag one note to the next. So he was emphasizing just having a balanced approach between my chest voice and my head voice so that I can make some distinctions between those notes. He's always giving me feedback on like my energy levels, when singing, like how much energy am I giving something? How much volume am I giving something? The vowel shape. And again, the balance between my chest and head voice, like all of those things are very important when it comes to singing. So kind of, as we move through the lesson, he again just helped me improve my vocal control and some dynamics. And we were talking about focusing on different vocal techniques, like kind of making sure that I wasn't pushing, wasn't squeezing, that I was nice and relaxed and could get, get comfortable in the whole thing. So really appreciate Jimmy and all of that work he's helping me do on my voice. So that's the kind of stuff that I do weekly. Again, I meet with some other tutors and I meet with them multiple times and they're super helpful and I really appreciate them. Want to give them a shout out. Jimmy as well. Jimmy makes his own music. He is fantastic. He's a great performer, great singer, just all around great artist. And he is a professional in his own right as well. So I'm really lucky to be able to work with those two guys, Joe and Jimmy. I really do appreciate them. And I don't know where I'd be without them. I'd be drowning. I'd be trying to keep my head above water, which I guess is what I'm doing now. So that was some honest tutoring from the week and all that good stuff. Let's get into my track. So I got this track, All My Friends. It comes from a story that how this song kind of came about is me and my two buddies, we were downtown Nashville and we were at a bar on a Sunday, and I can't really get into the whole story, but we got kicked out of the bar at 6 p.m. on a Sunday. And it's just not a good look, It's not a good look at all to get kicked out of a bar when the sun's still up on a Sunday. But it's all good, We're allowed back there. We didn't do anything crazy. It's not like we murdered somebody, nothing like that. But this song is called All of My Friends, and it came from that. From that story. And it's interesting, like how some of the songs that, I make, it's interesting how the ideas come about. But here is the demo version of All My Friends. Never have I ever, never have I ever, never have I ever seen my boys lose. Sure, they're doing drugs in the restrooms. We went net negative to a positive, doing drugs in the bathroom, I'm positive. All of my friends, all of them are blood. All of my friends, all of them are good. All of my friends, all of my friends, all of my friends, all of them are blood. All of my friends, all of them are good. All of my friends, all of my friends. So that is a demo version of All of My Friends. And here's the cool thing, right? The cool thing is I know that is not a finished track. I know that isn't a track that I want to put out and have people take the time to listen to. But the coolest part about it is that I am now comfortable enough to get to that position. Previously, when I would get to that position, I would just kind of panic and push it out on SoundCloud, tell some people that I dropped a new song, because it was a lot of work. It was really hard to get to that point. And I'm not saying that it isn't hard to get to that point, because it still is, but it's getting easier for me. And the reason it's getting easier is because I'm putting in the work. I'm doing the hard stuff and I'm not stopping when I'm uncomfortable. And it does make me uncomfortable to think that product exists, that quality of sound exists. I don't love it, but I can't work with something and I can't evolve it. I can't make changes to it unless I have something tangible to work with. And I've said that a million times on this podcast. And I was scared and I wasn't being honest with myself. And I really do appreciate the fact that I can get there, make some music, and then take it to my tutors and just like refine the craft. And something that was really hard for me, and I could tell that it was just like pure honesty when I said it, because I didn't really think of it. I didn't really hold a filter to the words coming out of my mouth. But I said to one of my tutors, to my mentor, I said, I'm scared that I won't make it to my dreams. I'm scared that I won't get to where I want to go. And when I said it out loud, I immediately was like, what am I scared about? It's up to me. And what are my other options? Stop. I definitely won't get there, but then it's up to me, everything else that I have set my mind out to do, I've accomplished. And for that, I'm eternally grateful to God, to the universe, to those around me. I am so grateful and thankful. But um, I'm also grateful for this struggle process, and I want to share it with you guys, to be honest about it. I don't want to just pop out with like a dope track and, make it look like, again, that falls off the cuff and that's just what it is, because it ain't. This is what it is. It's rough, but we're getting there, and I am really excited about that. So that's some honesty out of me. But that's the track. The last honest thing that I want to share with you. This is probably the coolest thing that I've come across in a long time. I went and I revisited some of my old journals, and I was reading them, and here was a page that I found, excuse the handwriting, says, "Hey, here's a reminder. You are awesome. You're doing a great job, and you're going to do even better when you start really believing in yourself." And I just wanted to share that, because when I came across it, I was like low key a little blown away that I would write myself a little note like that. But it was a good reminder that I need to go and like revisit the journals and the notes I was taking when I first started this journey, because the other things that I came across, the things I was taking notes on in my studying with my tutors and all that kind of stuff, those are things that I know like second nature now. And it really helped me to show like I've come a long way, And on my run today, I was actually thinking about my song. I was thinking about this episode, and I really do appreciate that I have put in the work and I can produce stuff like the music you just heard, because straight up 2 years ago, I didn't know how to do anything inside of Logic, inside of my audio workspace Logic. And now I can, make some demo quality music like that to take it to professionals and be like, "Hey, can you help me?" So that's really exciting. I'm really stoked. And I appreciate you guys letting me share that with you. It's as honest as I can get. I had some people not honest with me this week, and it really just like put me on 10. I really had to like find some self-control, which I fell a little short on. I ended up beating the absolute McDonald's out of some idiot down here that was drunk as hell. And I feel bad for that dude, like, he probably woke up. Well, he definitely woke up hungover and not looking great, but sometimes you just got to be people's karma. I really do believe that a lot of times when an asshole comes across my path, and I really do believe that I was given a gift to be able to be people's karma, and I'm okay with that sometimes. It's not who I want to be. It's not who I like to be, but I'm grateful that I made it out alive, I guess is really what I'm saying. But yeah, people just not being honest with me had me on 10. And it's my fault, because I'll look a pretty girl in the eyes and I will straight up Euro step all of those red flags. And I just need to stop. I just need to recognize the red flag, take it for what it is, and leave it there. But pretty girls, they just get away with so much. It's ridiculous. None of it's fair. None of it's fair at all. So that's what I got on honesty. People aren't always going to be honest with you. I came across some funny stuff about pulling a prank. The prank was saying that we should all, as a prank, pull our money out of the bank on the same day, on July 14th. Wouldn't that be a funny prank? But that wouldn't be honest, right? That's not something we should do to the federal government. We shouldn't put the pressure on them like that. But yeah, wouldn't be good if something like that happened. What else? I've been enjoying the weather here in Nashville. It's been really great. I can't complain. Can't complain about that one bit. What else? Sometimes I get so worried about like, oh, my podcast. I'm worried about like how people portray it or how people see it or whatever. I don't know if you guys have watched a TNT pregame show with like Charles Barkley and the other guys who played basketball. Draymond Green was on there. It's awful. Who's watching that? Who's watching ESPN or TNT? I couldn't do it. I was like, this is so cringe. It's awful. It's like pandering. And they make them do, it looks like the scene out of Eastbound and Down, where Danny McBride is trying to be on the TV show with the guys and they're all being idiots. It looked just like that. I couldn't believe that it was actually televised. I'm like, who enjoys this? The stupidest crap. It's humiliating watching professional athletes act like that on a set. Like Shaq. I'm like, dude, I really like Shaq. I think he's great. Other than the pregame show when they make him like throw stuff at Charles Barkley. Ha ha ha. Anyways, whatever. If you're in Nashville, Integral Acupuncture, they hooked me up. My hamstring was better. I pulled my hamstring and like 3 weeks later I was running. So check him out. His name's Brian Wilson here in Nashville. If you need some shopping, go to Forts. I'm going to hit up Forts later this week. I got a bachelor party in Denver. Shout out to my boy Bryce. Looking forward to partying in Denver with all the guys. That's it, really. That's all I got. Things have been good. Trying to be a little bit more honest with myself. Put in the work. Do the stuff. We good. We out here. We out here with the legend, Tim McGraw. And that's it. That's a wrap for the show. I really appreciate y'all being here with me. Episode 51. We're talking about being honest. I'll see y'all episode 52. Okay, bye.